Rob, what's good, homie?
Man, you got me logged in on my laptop on a Friday evening because
There's a
of
lot to talk about, Rob. There's a lot to talk about. You
yeah,
know,
we got to give a few minutes to let some people log in here before we get into some of the juicy stuff going on right now. But Mike really keeping me on my toes lately on Twitter, that's for sure. So hopefully, we get some people could come in, join us. It's going to be a crazy episode. Mike,
we usually listen. We usually don't do 2 episodes a week, right? We only do 1 episode a week. But I think this week it called for 2 episodes, right? There's a lot going on. There's a lot to talk about. Since Wednesday, uh, some developments, right? I mean, undercover bosses tonight. We wanted to talk about that.
that's a
Uh,
development.
right?
Easy.
So we wanted to talk about that. Uh, Colie Edison, PBA CEO, was on Beef and Barnzy show. We want to talk about that. Rob, we're never going to get the chance to interview ourselves, I don't think. So, we wanted to talk about that. The best we can give the people is to follow up on somebody else's interview right now, anyway. Then today, of course, getting in my craw is Barstool Carl, right? We're going to talk a little bit about that. And it seems like he's got the all access pass to the PBA event this weekend, even though, it's coronavirus protocols, et cetera. Speaking of coronavirus protocols, well, my wife's going for a test tomorrow. So her superintendent has been having them come to school, and the whole field hockey team got exposed. And my wife was apparently exposed to one of the kids on the field hockey team. So she's got to go get a test tomorrow morning, and a little corona action going down in my household. Just a side note there. But yeah, so you got Barstool Carl we want to talk about, and
You know what
Rob,
else we got to talk about?
haha, did you wear that just to piss me off?
I'm calling this the WWE edition of Sweep the Rack because we got a little bit to talk about, and it comes to WWE. And you know how excited I was?
Oh my
I
God.
was.
Listen, I was watching. First of all, I'm not going to comment too much in an interview like that for those guys, because I respect those
I
guys
did.
too much to like take the chat over and be oh, this and that. And what I would say would be critical. So I'm not even going to go there. I'd rather get the opportunity to ask you those questions myself. But I did watch it, right? And we'll talk about it tonight,
Okay,
obviously.
let's.
But listen, my favorite comment from the chat, from the entire chat, I forget who it was. It's somebody who watches here with us all the time. They said, somewhere right now, when she announced the WWE thing, somebody wrote, somewhere right now, Big Mike's head is exploding. And I was just like, yo, that's perfect. That is perfect. So I'm sure you were celebrating. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But Rob, the first order of business tonight that
Oh
we
my
got to get
God.
into, right? Is because listen, Rob, the people love the drama, yo. The people, and you know it because Rob, have we ever? I'm serious. Have we ever gotten hit up by more people over anything than what we're going to start out with tonight?
No, and
Not even close. It's not
no,
even
we got
close.
hit up. I was getting DM'd. You were getting DM'd. The account was getting DM'd. It was hilarious because
Text messages right to us from people that know
yeah,
us.
yeah, and it started. Okay, so let's start from the beginning, okay?
Let's do it.
Because we got
Well,
to give our audience.
obviously we're not going to mention the name, right? Rob
No,
doesn't want to mention the name, so
no,
it's the account it's the burner that will not be mentioned. Okay,
yeah, it's the
it's the
burner. I
burner
don't want
that
to
will not
mention.
be
I don't want to
mentioned.
give this.
All
I don't
right,
want to give the burner any kind of. But if you
you all
follow us on Twitter,
you all
you
know
know
what
who it
we're
is.
referring to. Okay,
Yeah, and I don't want to say it if you want to look it up, whatever. Anyway, so it started with a burner account that was made, and it all of a sudden realized that it had it out for Sweep the Rack. Okay, and we didn't. No idea why. And every once in a while, and it would tweet maybe once a week or once every couple, and it seemed to be obsessed with a
and
few of
honestly,
our account, like Sweep
can
the
I
Rack.
can I say something? It
Yeah,
started out a little bit more playful.
it did.
Would you
It
agree
was.
with that? It
I did.
started out
Yeah,
as a little bit more play. Like in the
sure.
beginning, when I took notice of this account because it was tagging us in some stuff, I was kind of going back and forth with the account because it was like kind of playful stuff, right?
Right.
But then I would say over like the last couple months, it really transformed to where it got to it became very evident to me that like whoever is behind that account has a major problem with us, and for some reason wants to come at us, but can't come at us from their own account. Doesn't want to come at us from our own account. Is too punk to come at us from their own account.
So let me finish this. So let me set a stage here, because the burner account's going, and then it's taking shots at me on my personal account. It's taking shots at you and on your personal accounts, taking shots at us at our Sweep the Rack Twitter account, and I ignored it for the most part, because it's a burner account, and as did you. So we let it go, and then they would it put up a poll, and it really took just a nasty shot at us, and it wasn't a big deal. Then I don't know, and I have to ask you, but something set so let me tell you guys, something set Mike off a couple days ago. Believe it was like, what's today, Friday? Believe it was like maybe Tuesday or Monday, where Mike decides that he is going to find out who this account is, and he is going to put up some tweets, and then that spurred our audience to read these tweets and say, you know what, we're going to find out like who this account is. So we had literal you people that follow us, right? I'm not calling fans. Our people right? Yeah. Decides that, you know what, we're going to start looking into this account, and they are literally like people bored of work.
People last night were hitting us up with information saying, take a look at this. Take a look at that. Here's my guess. Here's what I think. Look at this tweet. This is of significance. This has to be important. And it was coming through text. It was coming through DMs, So
you decide that you're going to all of a sudden put, we find out some information, I'd say some new information, you get pissed. So I think this is making you get more angry. And then you decide that you're going to take some shots at people and I wouldn't say accuse them, but imply that that's who they are account. And then it went from us. All
right. So listen, let me talk about a couple things. So the first thing you wanted to know, I think, is why I decided to get so into who's behind this account.
Yes.
And really, it's because I hate punks and I hate internet tough guys. I just do. I hate people that hide behind a screen. That's certainly not who I am. If I got a problem with somebody, I'll say it right to their face. You guys know, like, even on this podcast, there's been people who've been on here who I've said things that, other people probably wouldn't say to them. All right. That's just me. Okay. So, I just don't like it. I just don't like the behavior. And let me say this. The bowling community is a very small community. All right. So whoever this is, Rob, whoever is behind that burner, we probably know them. We probably know
in the chat room right now.
Yeah, we probably been at events with them or whatever. And because the bowling community is such a small community, like if there's somebody that's got that big of a problem with me, that they need to go on a burner and flame us like that, then you know what? I want to know who it is. I want to know who it is so I can go see them and ask them, what's the problem? Or why do we have a problem or whatever it is. But let me say this, okay? We're going to speak about the evidence a little bit here going forward, okay? But I'm going to update the people, okay? I'm going to update the people.
Because they're sitting on their edge about this. They're losing sleep over this.
Joey Bell Bottoms is for sure, right? Yeah. So listen, hey, I put my money where my mouth is. I said $1,000 reward. I stand behind that. Somebody comes to me with who it is and proof and evidence. $1,000 in your pocket. I stand behind that. Okay.
You're putting that up.
I'm not. I put that out on Twitter. I got that. That's from me. That's not half from Rob. That's right from
$1,000. Okay? What if I find out? If I find it, do I get the 1,000?
If you come to me with proof.
Okay.
Yeah,
what if I'm the burner? Do I get the 1,000?
If you're the burner, I'm flying out to Vegas to kick your ass, son. For real. And then I'll give you
I'm wearing a WWE shirt.
I'll have you come meet me for the 1,000, and then you got to confront me when you get the 1,000. How's that? Okay.
Venmo, son. You ain't
gonna... No.
Wow.
Listen. I'm
$1,000 bounty. That's big news.
Listen. I'm not serious about that. I'm not serious about that. Okay?
Oh, you're not serious about that $1,000 bounty?
I tweeted it out. I want to be clear. I'm not serious. I'm not.
Damn it.
Okay. I'm not taking it there. Okay. We're not taking it there. And I want to say this, right? I spoke to Brett Spangler today. Okay. And I want to be clear. I spoke to him in a conversation. Okay. And him and I talked for a while. and he gave me his word that he is not behind this burner account. Okay, and let me be clear: I never put him out there as somebody that that I thought or I was accusing of being behind the burner account. But there are certain facts here, Rob, and I'm not going to go through them all here. If people want them, they're up on, most of them are up on Twitter. I did take down a couple tweets that had his name in them because I gave him my word that I would do that. But most of them are up there. Okay, I'm not going to go through fact for fact what it was, but Rob, suffice to say, is it fair to say that when we were getting all this information, when we were looking at things, when we were looking into this, is it fair to say that we felt that there was possibly or likely a strong connection between this account, the burner account, the unnamed burner account, and motive?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
It is fair to say, because we did get proof evidence of the burner account having a lot of like motive inspired
promoting stuff from them, right? And it doesn't promote anything like that other. So,
Okay, so here's where we're at. I don't want to spend half hour talking about a burner account, because obviously whoever the burner account is, they did a good enough job for you.
It only has 17 followers, people.
I know.
Right? It only has 17 followers. Like,
all I'm saying is, look, like,
doesn't matter to me. It's the principle.
The whole thing is dumb. The whole thing is stupid. I started with this whole thing because I thought it was funny and because it was entertaining, and it got a little bit out of hand, where people were actually like up in arms about shit, getting bent out of shape, getting angry. But I'm still on my word that this is a dumb thing. We started out with fun, and I didn't mean it to get the way it did. We're getting text messages and people getting pissed about it and angry that we're looking into it. But let's just say that, yeah, there were a lot of people that got angry or bent or defensive that we were looking at them, or we were, trying to figure out who this was. And this all started as a joke to me. And at this point, now I really want to know who it is.
I'll say this. And I said this to other people in conversations that I've had today. I understand the idea of being behind a social media account that perhaps is saying inappropriate things. You're in a role, you're in a job, all that, right? People know what I do, so I get that. But at the same time, one thing that I have to mention is that if somebody accused me, or if somebody even said I'm anywhere in the realm of behind an account, let's say that was related to my job and was a burner account for something at my job, and I wasn't, if they were saying I was behind and I wasn't, I got to be honest with you, I wouldn't give two shits about it. I'd actually laugh at those people for being wrong about it. So yeah, listen, like you, I was a little surprised at the reaction. And to us, like you said, Rob, I think you summed it up well. It was just a joke. It was just something that we were having fun with. I am serious that what I said on Twitter, if you got to hide behind a burner account, that says more about you than it does about me. So I'll put that out there as well. And the bowling community is a small community. We ain't hard to find, Rob. We ain't hard to get in touch with. So if you got a problem with us, let us know. All right. So we're going to move on. Enough burner account talk. Rob, I don't know. The people seem like they want to talk about Barstool Carl next. You want to go there? Or you want to go?
Yeah, we can go Barstool Carl. I mean, that's your boy. That's another drama fest that you started on Twitter. It feels like our episodes are you just starting shit on Twitter and then us talking about it. But what's going on with Carl is, I guess, the PBA sent him an invite, right, for the PBA playoff this weekend.
They must have, even though it's COVID protocol. Even though, no one supposedly can go. I guess he gets the invite.
He got the invite and he's off to, and I've already seen a lot of tweets from him, and he's on the train or whatever coming, and he's taking videos of the people with the ball drilled press. I mean, I'd be curious to see what kind of content he puts out. If it's going to be like actual good coverage or behind the scenes coverage of a bowling event, or he's just going to be like mocking the whole event. Because
I don't know. I mean, in order to do good behind the scenes coverage of a bowling event, don't you have to know bowling?
No,
don't you have to know a little bit about it? He sent out a thing about about lane patterns today, and somebody underneath his thing, like I did to him, they did it a little bit nicer fashion, but I'm Big Mike, I'm from Philly, that's how I roll. So they commented that they explained to him what the lane patterns were, and then he summed it up by saying they make it a lot more challenging. And I was like, oh, I wonder who told him that. Like, so I'm interested to see the same thing, Rob. I want to point out a few things though. Okay. Rob, have you ever been invited by the PBA to anything?
I've never had a personal invite to anything. No.
I mean, especially through our relationship with this show.
They did, yeah. I mean, they did welcome me when I went to the PBA League last year in
Right,
Portland.
but let's be clear though. They didn't call you or email either one of us and say, "Hey, we want to have you out. We want to welcome you, cover this, give you access."
No,
Yeah.
USBC did though.
Yeah, they
USBC did, and Chad Murphy did.
Once we were there, once we were at Bayside, I was treated very well too. I'm going to say I feel like that was as much Charlie as it was the PBA when I was there, especially for the PBA playoffs that weekend. But he got the invite, which is fine. That's okay. But
yeah,
a couple
but
things.
He's Barstool, Mike. I mean,
I understand. I get it. And listen, like you said, if it's good coverage, I'm with it. Let's go. Right? I'm with it. I'm not saying I'm anti anything that he does. I'm willing to examine it piece by piece. But listen, a couple things. The guy hasn't blogged about bowling since August 21st. Okay? Since August 21st was the last time he blogged about bowling. He sends out a blog about a bowling shirt he got, and on the back it's got GTLF, which is great taste, less filling. I mean, come on. Is that where we're at? We need classic bowling shirts with beer logos on the back. Like, is that what we're going for? That's I'm not the
He's
gatekeeper.
Feeding into the stereotype, Mike.
Okay,
He's feeding into the stereotype, but that's what Barstool does. Barstool is a completely they're a professional trolling company. That's what they do. Like, if you ever watch anything that Barstool does, they troll. That's what they do, and they're good at it. And you know what? Maybe bowling should feel complimented that they're getting trolled by Barstool. Now, I'm not taking their side on stuff, but people that are saying, look, like any coverage is good coverage when it comes to bowling, and Barstool is a pretty mainstream outlet. But yeah, maybe let's see what he does. Now, is he going to be? Is it a spoof? Is it something where he's like Conan would do, and when on his show back years ago, when he would go out to the public and make fun of people without them really knowing that he's making fun of them? Now, I like to see them try to pull that.
Or is it going to be more stereotypical bullshit about bowling? I don't really want to see that.
You know what I like to see? Honestly, what he should do is I'd like to see him go out and party with these guys. Go out with I don't know, Tommy and Chris and AJ and whatever, and drink some beers and show the light side of it. And you know what? Doesn't have to be serious coverage, because I know you're a bowling nerd and you want to see serious bowling coverage, but he can make it fun and light, kind of how what we do, and not troll. But if he's gonna make fun of bowling and completely make it a joke, then that's when I'll start getting angry. So let's just see what he puts out, and then
I'm willing to take a look. I just want to make it clear that this is a guy who, out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of blogs that he puts up, okay, numerous blogs per day, only a handful of them have any relation to bowling whatsoever. Okay, well, and most of them deal with bowling kind of, I view it in the way that you're talking about, Rob. So that's why I point out, surprising to see the PBA, the most serious organization in bowling, inviting somebody, like that to come down and give them coverage. I understand the promotional aspect of it, but let's be clear. The guy has 60,000 followers and he's a member of Barstool. Okay. I don't really think that's that impressive. Other people from Barstool have well over 1 million followers. If it was that kind of situation, I'd be like, all right, it almost doesn't matter. 66,000 followers to me. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it there. I also want to point out, Rob, because I think this is a fair criticism, that we discussed recently, Colie Edison and her focus on women in business and women in pro sports, right? And I referred to it in the tweet that we read on our last episode. And Barstool, for what it's worth, and listen, I'm going to say that I do check out Barstool's content from time to time, all right? But for what it's worth, Barstool is known as being, has been accused in the past of having attitudes that are negative towards women, okay? So I don't see how this is a good relationship for her as the CEO of the PBA. I really don't. To align yourself with a company. And listen, I know they have a CEO, a female CEO at Barstool. There's also a lot of research or a lot of articles out there that would argue that they did that to kind of take away some of the flack that they were getting from it. But I'm surprised by that partnership for somebody who's so high on women in business, etc. To see that partnership developing. It's just something that I'm surprised by.
Yeah, I will see. I'm not gonna judge on it, but I kind of already know what kind of product he's gonna put out, and I'll wait till I see.
Oh,
Coverage.
he's also supposedly running a national tournament. From one of his blogs here, recent blogs, he says, personally, I can't begin to tell you how pissed off I am that COVID restrictions have effectively squandered any attempt of an already greenlit national bowling tournament for this fall. Okay, that I have to patiently wait. Let me see.
It's gonna be a booze fest. I kind of want to go. To be honest with you.
Let me see. He said something. I thought there was another.
It's all right. Let's just see what he puts out. And
we have to. He basically says we have to wait for a vaccine before we can appropriately find the best stoolie bowler in the world. That should be an interesting bowling tournament.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm
somebody
more of a wait right now.
Somebody should also tell Homeboy that the Chicago Cubs bags aren't cool. Somebody maybe should hook him up with something a little bit more.
Yeah, I love that you have such a big personal vendetta against him. It's amazing. I love it. Anyway, okay, so Colie, right? Let's move on because
Colie interview with Beef and Barnzy. Okay, Colie interview with Beef and Barnzy. We can't get her, so the best we can do for the people, Rob, is talk about an interview she does somewhere else. So that's why we're here.
And just to put it out there again, in case anybody's listening, we did reach out to Colie when she first took over as the CEO. We not CEO, but the head of the PBA. We asked her to come on the show.
We had an interview scheduled with her.
We did have an interview scheduled with her. She wanted us
dropped from Flow. We left Flow.
We left Flow. She asked us, or her assistant, or whoever works for her, asked us to give her the questions that we were going to ask. So take that for what that's worth, right? We did. We sent her. We had some really good questions. We wanted to talk to her about her reality show experience and a lot of other things that a lot of other outlets wouldn't ask her because, she's the president or CEO of the PBA. And after reading our questions, which weren't terrible, they were just interesting, like to know about her and get to know her, she turned us down. Okay. So that being said, makes you wonder what other outlets are doing when they have her on. Are they giving her the same questions? I would imagine so. Because she doesn't want to get what is it called?
I think at this point, Rob, there's probably some places where she feels safe and some places where she knows that the questions might be harder, right? Like if she's going to do an interview with G and Mark Manzone at Bowler's Journal, it's softball city. And we've seen that a few times already, so, I think it's kind of picking and choosing.
Here's the thing, Mike, and I'm going to throw this out to our audience. I'm not going to have a guest on the show if she's going to refuse to answer a lot of our questions that we want to ask her. I'm not doing a softball interview. And like a lot of our interviews have been, some of the questions have been kind of just mainstream questions like, hey, what are you doing? Like, how do you feel win a title? But we always like to throw in some really good questions and hard questions that people don't know. And look, like, she didn't want to do that. Then guess what? I don't really want to have her on. And even if she would come on, if she doesn't want to answer those questions, Anyway, so where do you want to go down the road? You want to go down to road to right here, baby. Right here, WWE. Look at that. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, 97. Dude, this was the heyday of a WWE.
Well, here's where if I'm going to talk about anything with that, let me say this, Rob. If more ideas get stolen from what we talk about on this podcast, we need to start getting paid. All right?
Yeah, well, we had this idea
because we've already talked about this. This was something we talked about on a previous podcast back when we were only audio, where somebody was on and we said, oh, it'd be a cool idea if like the PBA gave out a championship belt type thing. I think it might have been around another sports team doing something similar at that time. So yeah, listen, the other thing is she talked about girls, the female bowlers being part of the league teams as opposed to having their own teams. Where'd you hear that, Rob? Where'd you hear that? You heard that right here.
Yeah,
you heard that right here. As soon as they announced the teams, I said it would have been better to spread the girls out amongst the teams. You'd almost be guaranteeing that one of them makes it to the finals, makes some serious money from it. So like I said, it's getting old, honestly.
I know. So here's the thing is I want to talk about
the website on our show. Somebody in the chat a couple of weeks ago was like, oh, the website sucks. Guess what they did? They changed the website.
Mike, look, if you really think that they have their marketing team watching our show and just writing down the shit that we talk about and going and like doing it, like I don't think that's happening.
I don't think their marketing team does much of anything, to be quite frank with you. And I think that was evident in the interview with Stu and Chris. It came up. By accident. I don't think that anybody was trying to throw anybody under the bus, but Stu brought up his own not graphic, but his own written up schedule of the PBA playoffs, and she said, "Oh, why didn't you use ours?" And he told her, "Well, I couldn't find one with all the dates on it." And she was like, "Oh, well, check your email." What do you mean, check your email? It should be out on social media. It should be impossible to miss. It should be in every Bolero center posted around. No, okay. Listen, they want to take credit for marketing. They don't even put the PBA on in Bolero centers. Not in some places, not even if you ask them. Okay, so listen, I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it. I'm sorry.
But I'll tell you what, their PBA marketing
part of the interview. When that happened, it was my favorite part of the interview. I was dying. It was one of the only comments I put up in the chat. Was laughing out loud at that unfolding when she said to Stu, "Oh, you should have used one of ours," and he said, "Well, I couldn't find one that had all the dates on it." Dream team of marketing, but a person who does a bowling podcast can't even go online and quickly find a graphic that has all the dates for the biggest event of the year, the biggest money event of the year. You can't find a graphic for it online. Dude, come on. And we're going to praise ourselves for that?
Mike, I missed the show Monday night because I didn't even know it was happening. And you know how many people I follow in the bowling industry between Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram? And I didn't even know the show was going on. I would have watched it, I swear. And it's not like I wasn't checking it. I was checking it, check my social media every hour or two when I'm working here, but couldn't even find it. And, it makes you wonder, what's going on. It kind of gives you a really bad sense.
Rob, they talked about the ratings. Okay, the ratings
I asked the question. Did you see that? But, I get why they didn't want to ask her, because they probably had a list of questions that they needed to ask her, and they couldn't ask her. They had to be really selective on what questions they were going to ask Colie. I said, can you explain to us how are the ratings? How are the ratings the last 2 weeks?
And she said they were down, right? And then she gave some explanations for it.
Why? Because there's a surplus of sports going on, right? But where were they the last 6 months from March when there was no sports going on? Why could they put on a show then, which they did put a pandemic show on, right? Yeah, she was talking about the ratings, but I wanted to know how, she said they were down. She didn't give us specifically how down were they, Stu. I want to know.
And you know what else I noticed in those comments there that she made? She referred to the hardcore fans and said, well, the hardcore fans have to watch. I mean, come on. What hardcore fan, if they know about it, isn't watching out there? That's what a hardcore fan is. Those are the people that are searching it out, that are trying to find out when it's going on to watch it. Okay.
Stu, she trusts you. She's been on the show with you guys before. You guys are PBA members. you guys aren't going to do something to jeopardize your PBA cards and your careers by throwing her some, question that me and Mike would throw her that had, look, me and Mike have no agendas. We have no corporate sponsorships. We have no, relationships that,
In the
with the
industry
PBA.
at
We
all.
don't. That's why the show is the way the show is, because we could ask those kind of questions. We could talk about stuff that the fans want to know, right? I want to know why there was no marketing or no advertising with the PBA league shows, dude, and or the animal pattern shows, dude. Guys like Belmo and these international players, not only did they risk their lives and their family lives by going to a show because they had to travel overseas, but the PBA does them injustice, and all of you pros that had to travel by not promoting the shows, by not advertising the shows, by not throwing any kind of marketing even out there. Like, we had to go, Mike. Dude, Mike is like the biggest PBA fanboy I know, and he didn't even know when the schedule was for the shows. And he's usually knows everything, and he couldn't find anything. If something's not right, something's off. I don't really know. It's a gut feeling. There's no evidence, but so that was my rant, Mike. Colie did have something amazing that she announced during the interview. I'm serious. Like, so let me break the stage down for the fans, okay? Colie makes a big announcement. Big announcement, right? That they're partnering with the WWE, and they're going to be giving the winner of the PBA playoff.
How funny would that be?
A authentic WWE championship belt. Okay. Now, maybe a WWE wrestler will be there presenting the belt. Okay. But when I thought of you, I was dead, because let's break it down. Mike is not a supporter of the WWE, doesn't watch it, thinks it's a joke, thinks it's fake, whatever you said in the past. I've always said that bowling should be a little bit more like the WWE, and the fact that WWE is entertainment, right? PBA bowling is not entertainment. PBA bowling, there's nothing entertaining about someone throwing a ball down the lanes and knocking 10 pins down. You know what it is entertaining?
Wrong.
Pete Weber yelling, okay, at a fan in the crowd, Chop doing this, doing whatever is the animation, right? Whatever Pete Weber does is the reason why when Pete Weber bowls, the ratings are always higher, and that's been proven and we can get on Riggles, we can get on Wiseman. Whenever Pete Weber bowls, the ratings are higher. Why is that, Mike? Pete Weber is a huge WWE fan. Pete Weber takes a lot of what he sees from the WWE and goes and uses that as a bowler. And that's why that makes him so much fun to watch. Now, bowling is a great sport. It's challenging, right? If you're a hardcore bowler, we love watching it, right? All of us do. But if you can combine a little bit of what the entertainment factor is with the characters and bring it to bowling, you're going to start getting more viewership. You're going to start getting your 18 to 50 demographic, which bowling is completely on the shits for, okay? That's my rant, but
let me say this. Listen,
okay.
I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it, but let me say this. If you watch Fox, you've taken notice that they do a lot of cross promotion. They've had wrestlers with football and wrestling and this and that. They do a lot of this NASCAR stuff as well. This is Fox saying to the PBA, promote the WWE for us. Hand out this belt and promote the WWE. And obviously, the PBA gets some cross promotion from it as well. All right.
I hope so. If the WWE starts promoting,
it doesn't bother me all that much. I wish that maybe as a negotiating chip, the PBA could have gotten some shows on at better times other than going up against the NFL.
Do you know what the ultimate thing with them for Fox would be? Is for them to have a PBA bowler show up at a WWE event and come out from the crowd, and maybe a special guest referee, or even just a blurb on the WWE's social media account. You know how many millions of people watch WWE a week? Their fan base is exactly the demographic that the PBA needs to be focused on. The demographic is like from 16 to like 40, and our demographic is like 70 to like 95. Okay, if you go to like watch a PBA event, it's all just a bunch of like usually older people watching. So I mean, yeah, if Colie could make some kind of deal where WWE can promote PBA bowling by even just a social media blurb or bring in a pro bowler, you know, I feel like it would be a great deal. But that being said, Mike, I'm getting word from my backstage in our production facility, Mike. I'm getting word that there is somebody here that wants to talk about the belt and is actually
What
pretty angry.
special guest, unplanned guest,
special guest, and I'm gonna bring him on because he's like really angry about like what's going on with the PBA and the
why would this
WWE
person
giving
be
belts.
angry? Come on, bring him on. Let's find
I'm
out.
bringing him on. I'm bringing on Doyle Day. The
oh,
What's
Doyle
up?
Day.
What's up?
Are
What's
you?
up?
What's going on with this? Dude, I heard you were pissed.
Yeah, I'm quite pissed. Let me tell you why. First of all, Big Mike, you suck. Wrestling's awesome. More people watch it than bowling. Deal with it. And guess what? I'm a professional wrestler and I'm a professional bowler. And yes, all this stuff that Pete Weber did, which by the way, why don't you ask Brooklyn Rob where all that cross shopping came from? Me. We did it on the Junior Bowler Tour back in the day. O'Neal staying at my house. Brooklyn Rob, everybody, Fagan, everybody. We were doing that crap, and then it became popular. I've been saying it. That's why I left bowling for wrestling. I still bowl now. You can still see me in all the action tournaments, and I'm still exciting. And I'm the reason why the PBA needs to get one of us to go in the WWE so everybody can start watching the damn show that nobody watches anyway. You don't even know when the damn show is on. It's ridiculous.
true.
They want to give out a belt. You see this? You see this?
Yo,
This is the Adrenaline Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship that I've held for 590 days. Blood, sweat, steel cage, all of that. I've wrestled everybody, and people give a crap about it. People know when I'm showing up. I'm a character, yes. And when I bowl, people want to see characters too. Hate to tell you, that's where the ratings would be. It ain't about the money. Money, you see this? You see this? This is 30 grand right here. I pissed that. And I'll tell you what, whoever wins that PBA playoff, bring your candy ass down, bowl me 5 out of 7 games. We ain't got to bowl for money. I'll bowl just for your freaking belt.
yo.
Me and you, TV, I'll come to the PBA. I'm coming there in 2 years anyway, so you might as well bowl me now before I beat your ass in 2 years because I got a grudge against some people anyway. So we can do that. And I'll even make a deal. I'll even make a deal right here. If the PBA's watching, Beef and Barnzy, whoever who can hook it up, because all these ball companies need to be watching because I'm your golden boy, your golden ticket. I'm the future of bowling. Like it or not, the bad boys where it's at. The best that ever did it and got away with it. So what's going to happen is 5 out of 7, I'll bowl you. God forbid you win. And people go, well, you know, he's more of a wrestler now. He's not, he's not bowling as much. I'll take the winner of that PBA playoff. And if he's too chicken shit to come out, I'll take on any professional national touring PBA player, and I'll get you in a ring. And I know what you're thinking. I know what Big Mike's thinking. Wait a minute. It's not fair. Whoever is a bowler, and I can probably whip their ass. No shit, I could have did it when I was bowling before I wrestled anyway. No one can mess with me anyway. But here's my point. I'll get him in a ring, and I guarantee this. I will give them a WWE superstar or a former WWE superstar to be in their corner, and they can tag against me and anybody I choose. Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Maybe you know, I've been known to get into a tussle or two. Maybe I'll come and be the other tag partner over there. What do you think?
If this happens, you, Brooklyn Rob, both of y'all can be there. Tell you, I'll have you right on outside the ring. If you can't get in the match, if whatever poor slub decides to come in there and get his ass kicked, whatever. But that belt they're gonna give out, what a slap in the face. I mean, they give out ball contracts to people like they're giving out like water in a freaking like on a plane. They give out free drinks, and there's people like us out there, people who are ratings, people who bust their ass who can't get a ball deal, but I'm out there and lucky I'm rich so I can show up anywhere I want and bowl anybody anytime, and I'll be somewhere near you. And guess what? Let's talk about those ratings. The ratings. That's what it's all about, right? And for you stupid ass ball companies that don't want to sign people like me that actually give a shit, I'm not gonna say the ball company that I was with before. Let's just say it's not Lane 2. But I sold hundreds of thousands of bowling balls just because I threw them. And yeah, I shot 1158 with somebody else's ball, not practicing, picked it up, half an hour break between the two games and didn't really care and still did it. And yeah, I shot 300s left and right. Who can't nowadays? You can dump and run on these easy wall shots. And that's why I don't bowl house shots. But my whole point is my last two matches, 250,000 views in a week. Can bowling do that?
No.
All right, Rob, listen, I appreciate the appearance by Doyle Day, but listen, he's trying to get a ball contract. Get him off my show. Nobody's
I don't
getting
need a ball contract. You know I don't need a ball contract, Big Mike?
I don't have a ball contract.
Look,
you think you're going to come on Sweep the Rack and use my show to get a ball contract?
First of all, Big Mike.
Rob, let's go. Come
on.
I
don't need a ball deal. Hey, hold on. You know why I don't need a ball deal? Because if I wanted to go out there on tour, let me see.
You flash.
Hold on.
No, I know.
Here's the first 10 shows that never air on TV anyway. Here's the whole truck full of bowling balls. If you can see right there, all hundreds, by the way. I don't deal with small change.
Doyle, before
here's the plane tickets. Here's for you, and I could send you out there just to come watch me, both of y'all.
Doyle Day. Before
it's worth some money too. I mean,
Before we let you go, where could our people follow you and find you? And do you have your next wrestling match set up? Like, give the people a place to come watch you or see you wrestle, or your social media.
All right. Well, Doyle Day on Instagram, Doyle Day or D-Day on Twitter. I'm so bad with social media. Facebook, Doyle Irons. All the bowling world knows me that way. You can see me at a big action tournament near you. You can also go to adrenalinewrestling.com, where clearly the heavyweight champion is always on there. My next match, not this pandemic's kind of screwing us, so we're kind of waiting for the fans to open up. I do some here and there. I did 2, like I said, YouTube matches, and one of them's probably, I think by now it's up to like 400,000 views, and you can see me doing that. I'm shooting promos all the time, and pretty much available. And yes, if somebody hits me up, I speak to them. I'm not a total asshole, because Brooklyn Rob's my friend, and he knows I'm a nice guy. And real quick, to give you a quick story for anybody that actually watches, that bowls and wrestles, because most of us that bowl like wrestling. I was at SmackDown in Vegas, and with my boy James Ellsworth, and we were there. We were all hanging out doing the show. After the show, me and Rob's brother, Dave, were hanging out, and he calls Rob and goes, "Hey, guess who I'm here with?" And he's like, "Doyle." And Rob's like, "Oh my God, Doyle." And for those of you who know who in wrestling, who the god of Japan is, Shinsuke Nakamura, just kind of pops in the camera like, "Who's this?"
Dude, I Skyped with Shinsuke Nakamura. It was the funniest thing ever. I picked up the phone. I'm like, holy shit, it's Shinsuke Nakamura. Big Mike, he's this guy is like a mainstream WWE superstar, and I was Skyping with him because Doyle Day, man, got the hookups, dude.
All right, well, listen, I mean, if clearly the PBA is going down a road of being involved with the WWE, so we may have to bring our man back and make this a regular thing for the wrestling.
Hey,
and listen,
Mike,
give us the cross promotion, will you? You're here bragging about all your YouTube views. I want some cross promotion out of this shit. You got me?
Dude, I've actually been sharing your show, like telling people to view it. I've been sharing it on my Facebook.
Thank you. Appreciate
I'm trying to get
that.
better with social media, but I love you guys' show. And I got to ask you this honestly, Mike. Seriously, he's right. Rob's right. Bowling does need characters, because, like, even back in the day, the whole Marshall Holman deal, like when they were going at, Marshall Holman was going at it, and Earl Anthony, they were kind of characters. And, Walter Ray was, unbeatable Deadeye. And then Weber did his deal, but he was the bad boy. But characters, every sport, name a sport, characters is what sells every sport. Basketball,
It's a good
football.
Dude, poker. Poker is a great example of that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Who wants to watch poker? But if you got Phil Hellmuth, the brat, right, against Mike the Mouth Mattisau, it becomes an event.
Yeah, exactly, honestly. Bro. Like characters, man.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just think I disagree a little bit in how we get there. I think that when guys want to want to win at a high level for whatever reason it is, whether it be Pete Weber winning a U.S. Open or $100,000 prize or whatever it is, that's when those moments are most likely to come out. But I think when guys are out there worried more about their ball contract because there's so little opportunity to make money from actual bowling, I think it makes it tough to generate those moments because, a lot of times it's not about who wins or loses. It's about keeping the ball contract and making sure that I'm doing the right thing for my family and have that
Doyle Day on Fox. We need Doyle Day on Fox bowling.
We do. Let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
Do you guys remember back in the days when you could pay $500, I think it was, and go get in the tournament and actually hopefully maybe make the cut and then get in the national tournament before they had all these other rules and people like Brian Davis made it to the show in Mechanicsburg and shot 299 in the final?
Yeah,
absolutely. That kind of stuff was a story. That was why they changed rules like that. They made it so much harder for you to get the story, the hero, the local guy that makes it for his one shot. There's so many ways they just screw up everything. And I don't know if you guys agree with anything I'm saying, but
no, man,
it could be so much better, and not to mention, who the hell knows when this shit comes on? I love bowling. I don't even know when it comes on. I'm bowling league and it accidentally comes on. I'm like, oh shit, somebody's bowling.
All right, Doyle, man, we appreciate you, dude, man. Seriously,
come back.
Come back, man. Good luck in your training. Keep that belt, man. Make it another 300 days holding that belt, Doyle. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you. No problem. Anytime. And people keep watching the show. It's awesome. We need to support it. And see you at the next action tournament. Hopefully I can bowl Big Mike and get on his nerves.
All right.
Greatest slap out artist of all time right there. Greatest JBT slap out artist of all time.
For sure,
there.
Dude.
No
Doyle's
bullshit.
Awesome, man. Bowler, wrestler, always a big wrestling fan, heavyweight champ.
Always an entertaining dude too at JBT.
Honor for him. Always entertaining. Yep. Honor to have him on our show to take time of his busy day training for his next heavyweight title match. So,
all right. So Rob, the last thing we got for the people, I guess we want to get everybody out of here. They want to get their snacks ready. They want to get their popcorn popped. They want to get their drinks together. Gather your family around the TV. Get ready because you know what tonight is.
I'm going to the gym tonight.
Boss. So. It's Undercover Boss.
Is that really?
Colie
so okay.
Undercover Boss. Okay.
Okay. So first off, there's nothing on the cover about her undercover outfits. Okay.
Oh my god!
And you notice how I kept the Beef Barnzy tag in there because I don't want to steal their credit.
Can we get some comments in the chat about this?
Dude,
I mean, come on, is this some clown shit or what?
So you're telling me now that this show that she pops in and you're not going to know that something is off, like with this girl that has a wig and glasses and is talking with a low voice, because that's how she had to disguise her voice, because people, by looking at her costume or her outfit, no one was going to know that there was something seriously wrong with this girl with the wig and the glasses. And Mike, you know what this looks like? I'm going to throw this out there. I don't want to know what the left screen, but the black outfit, right, with her looking normal, that looks like my pre-Tinder date. Okay? Her and the glasses and the wig, that's what they show up looking like. Okay, that's my post-Tinder date. Okay, pre-Tinder date, post-Tinder date. Okay? Dude, I don't know. I'm lost for words here, Mike. Help me out. What?
Somebody just said, your brother just said it looks like Thelma from Scooby-Doo. Oh my goodness. I was gonna say it looks like every stoner chick I ever met in college. Honestly. I mean,
dude, is this for real? Do people not know like that this person is like dressed up in a fully outfit disguise with cameras following around on top of it? Mike.
I agree with Joey Bell Bottoms. Like, she probably just could have went in natural and like people wouldn't have known who she was anyway.
I know.
But listen, I mean, we know that that back in the, we know that it thinks very highly CEA, PBO, women's CEO in sports. So you know how it is.
So I'm just, I don't know what time is that? I think it's like 8 p.m. Eastern.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Eastern.
It's 9 o'clock. I wonder if that's gonna be 9. Mike, I'm not the type to watch like that kind of show, but I'm gonna have to DVR this and watch it. And,
I'm watching
and force
I
myself through it.
I might go live on Instagram. I might go live on Instagram from our account while I'm watching it.
I'm just more curious because I know that show. I watched the Hooters episode for some odd reason. When he went undercover at Hooters, and
we know why you watched the Hooters episode.
Well, it was actually like one of the first episodes where like the manager was like sexually harassing the waitresses. So it actually was a good episode. But what was I gonna say? I want to see what she gives away at the end because we did a skit a couple weeks ago about what she could give away. And I mean. What are you giving away? Like, is it I don't know, all expense?
Anyway.
Is it an all expense weekend trip to go hunting with Marshall Kent? I mean, like, what? I mean, what are they going to be giving away? So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, guys, I am busy. I have to go to the gym, Bill. You know that. Trying to make sure that I
I say it all the time.
Anyway, so yeah, Mike. Any last thoughts or comments? I know you gotta get back on Twitter because you probably missed out on a bunch of burner tweets that you need to respond to. And
I'm off Twitter for the rest of the night. I think until maybe Undercover Boss starts. Yeah, I had a long day today. My phone's been blowing up all day. I think I'm off. I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna enjoy a good dinner, and then I'm gonna get ready to settle down here and watch some TV. But my final thought is, listen, I mean, it's a shame, Rob. It's a shame. It is. That's what I'm going to say.
What's a shame? What, that the partner with the WWE? You didn't really even give your...
No, not with the WWE. It's a shame that, like, the PBA, they extend that kind of invitation to Barstool, Carl. We've been doing this for almost 2 years now, this podcast. And, I'll say this, right? It's PBA playoff time. Rob, that PBA playoff preview that we put together last June, that had all 4 players and Randy Peterson, okay? That was one of the best pieces of bowling content that I've seen in quite a long time. I'll put that up against anybody's content anywhere, okay? So, listen, it's cool. I understand. People don't want to hear the truth. People don't want to hear what we have to say. It's all right. We're fans. This is a hobby to us. But at the same time, it would just be nice if the PBA were more welcoming to all the entities that want to cover them. Like I know for a fact that even if I wanted to go down there and watch this weekend, and one of our good friends is bowling for $100,000 this weekend, I don't think I'd be able to, right? But so I take note of that. Right? I take note of that, and I think that's the wrong way to go about things.
I guess my final thought is it just is such a PBA thing to do, to not put the bowling on TV during the pandemic when they easily could have jumped on when Florida opened up and even had like the local driving distance pros in that area, which are a lot in Florida. Just off the top of my head, Walter Ray, Tom Doherty, Norm Duke, Patrick Allen. Patrick Allen's in New York last time we interviewed him. But Jason Couch, right? There's a bunch of PBA pros in Florida. And I'm pretty sure if they would have been able to set something up during the pandemic, they could have took advantage of a 4 or 5 months of no sports. It's such a PBA thing for them to do, is all of a sudden now bowling goes up against a sports surplus, NBA finals, NFL Sunday, baseball playoffs. She even named Canadian Football League, which was hilarious. WNBA, right?
WNBA.
Come on. Like, no. Sundays and Mondays are off limits to sports.
And Rob, listen, I want to be clear. Like, we know it was a pandemic, but all it would take to produce bowling content for a show is 2 players. 2 players in one place.
Andres Gomez lives in Florida, right? Rhino Page lives in Florida, right? I'm sure they could have took away advantage, even if they just set up.
Walter Ray Williams lives in Florida.
I know.
Norm
they're
Duke
at least 6
in Florida.
And I'm sure a lot of those.
They could have had other players come down one at a time.
to drive down there.
Listen, it's ridiculous. Okay,
It is,
it's
and now
ridiculous.
they're going through a sports surplus where they fly in a whole bunch of people to finish up these tournaments, and then they don't even promote it. Like, look, like I'm hard in the PBA, but this is you know, a ball that's hasn't been dropped. And then on top of that, Mike, I'm gonna throw this out there, a whole nother topic maybe we'll talk about next Wednesday. I haven't seen a PBA schedule come out for 2021, Mike. It's already October. You know, I'm not saying that this thing is gonna get canceled this season.
Yeah,
all I'm saying is
for all the effort that they put into other shit like Undercover Boss and Barstool Carl, like honestly, they'd be better off working out a way to get on DraftKings sports betting app. You know, that would do way more for bowling than any of this other stuff that they're focused on would. So, all right, man. You ready? Yeah. You ready to wrap it up or what?
Sorry, I could go on and talk about this for hours.
I know. I
could go on for hours. So no, we'll talk more Wednesday. I'm sure we'll be reviewing the Undercover Boss show. We'll be talking more about any updates with our burner account. Stu says that there's a big
burner account talk is done.
It's done. What if we find out who it is? Are we going to call them on air?
Yeah, you know what the announcement is probably going to be, that it's going to be Barstool Sports betting app that they're going to be on. Yeah,
which would be awesome.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Maybe PBA will get added to the WWE network, and then it'll force you to have to buy the network. And it'll be my life's goal to actually be there in person to see you sign up for the WWE.
All right, we have exceeded my wrestling talk for the night. All right, we're logging off, folks. Take it easy.
All right, guys. Take care, man. We'll see you next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
I ain't hard to find. Come out from behind the burner, baby.
I called it out. Last call out.
Peace.
Later, guys, man. Thanks appreciate you guys coming out.